support reparations for Black people?
Well, listen, again, we had over 200 years of slavery. We had Jim Crow for almost a century. We had legalized discrimination, segregation, and now we have segregation and discrimination that is not legal but still exists and is a barrier to progress. We have disparities around housing. We have disparities around education. We have disparities around income. And we have to recognize that everybody did not start out on an equal footing in this country. And in particular, Black people have not. And so we have got to recognize that and do something about that and give folks a lift up. That's why, for example, I'm proposing the LIFT Act. Give people who are making $100,000 or less as a family a tax credit, which will benefit and uplift 60% of Black families who are in poverty.
So by default, it affects Black families, but there's not a particular policy for African Americans that you would explore.
But no, if you look at the reality of who will benefit from certain policies, when you take into account that they're not starting at the same place and they're not starting on equal footing, it will directly benefit Black children, Black families, Black homeowners, because the disparities are so significant. So if we focus on the specific issues that have resulted in the greatest disparities, and we understand that that's part of why we're doing it. Listen, the reality also is this: any policy that will benefit Black people will benefit all of society. Let's be clear about that. Let's really be clear about that. So I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to do something that's only going to benefit Black people. No, because whatever benefits that Black family will benefit that community and society as a whole and the country. Right?
No. Where'd she get that from? That don't even make sense. Whatever benefits that Black family, well, she's basically saying we're at the bottom. And anything that benefit anything will benefit Black people. So you don't really have to do anything for Black people. You just make programs for poor people and Black people will benefit, right? That's not reparations. And anytime reparations, the word reparations is spoken to politicians in this country, and I played that tape because, by the way, I played that tape because it pisses me off that she is a presidential candidate and she did that just 4 years ago. That's 4 years ago. She is talking crazy like that, and she ain't walked it back. And she got what percentage of the Black vote? When you're in the middle of a presidential debate and you start wondering if they're going to even talk about reparations or Black people at all, and then they say, okay, we're at the segment on race, and to go on to speak about Kamala Harris's race, which I just kind of was yawning and making all kind of smacking mouth noises and with my potato chips. I really don't think I heard her response. I was just like her. It was kind of disheartening to think that the part of the presidential debate that was supposed to address race, that was, and I could get it if that was a question, because he did say that shit, and they confront him, do your thing. But could you get back to the debate and say, okay, and now, because the last time you had a mic in your face and you was asked about reparations, we just saw how that went. You stay away from that shit, and they protect you. They pad you by not putting reparations on your plate in your conversation, in your interviews. This is a presidential debate, and you telling me that they couldn't think of ABC couldn't think of a reparations question? Or your stance. You have been flip-flopping, or said to have been, and big issues back then were fracking, reparations. Remember, reparations was in the conversation big then. Bernie and all that, everybody wanted to take their stand on it. Bernie was anti-reparations, for those of y'all who forgot. I always try to talk about people in those terms because that's how I determine if I like them or not. Because if you're against reparations in any form, you ain't even willing to sit down and talk about it. I do believe that some people believe we may not, as Black people, deserve this much or that much. But anybody I gotta respect and be willing to sit down and communicate with like a human being. If they're at least accepting the fact that something is old. We was brought over here and interbred against our will. All damn near a new race was created. I mean, you know what I'm saying? That's some deep shit when you really look at it. We look very different than other black people in the world, except South Africans, and that's because thank you, England. You see, people like Trevor Noah look like us because it's South Africa, and we over here in the 90s. Remember the 90s, y'all? We was over here, We Are the World, and like we had just overcome our shit. And there's other people now who are in positions. I'm telling you, Cory Booker said some shit in one of his speeches recently. If he meant that shit, he'd be a dangerous man, but he don't mean that shit. He just say that shit. Somebody probably got a speechwriter who's pretty good. He said something to the effect of, I can't work with my colleagues on reparations. They're resisting me. You know, basically they against this shit, and it's so out in the open that he want to throw his hands up on the subject. But if he really felt that way, if he really felt like throwing his hands up and that he was dealing with a racist, I mean, we got people in political offices who say that this ain't even fundamentally a racist country and systematic racism don't exist anymore. And then you look at black people. Why should we have to wait for the presidential debate to bring up reparations, for us to even have hope that there could be movement? Why do we have to wait and hope that Gavin Newsom gets that bill across his desk and that the black legislature in California votes on it? We got to rely on all these different racist ass mechanisms to fall into place. That means it's never going to happen, because all it takes is one, and these mechanisms are put in place to stop reparations. If it was just one, it would have been overcome already. But it's back. It's back up. What if it back in the beginning of the country they say the will of any president shall be done, no matter what? If you're a president and you are in the process of getting something going and they kill you, which seemed like it would have been a reasonable thing to do because they murder people when they don't like something. So the best thing to do is protect that president's will. You can kill him, but you can't kill what he set in place. Because you kill him and his bill goes forward, or his presidential amendment goes forward, and then we have our reparations. But the country wasn't set up that way, because it was set up for just what it was set up for, to put the brakes on some shit. And I don't know, man. I got a weird feeling last night too at the debate. Trump is a little different, and I don't mean like old or nothing. I think getting shot at kind of grounds you. Shit, it would have grounded me. And to get nicked or hit, and you know, and people on the internet arguing, he didn't get hit, it bounced off the. Hey, somebody shot a bullet, and it came, you know, close enough to make you know you got shot at. That's some serious stuff. And I think it changed him, or something changed him. He different. But I may be getting used to him. Maybe that's it. Because he just be going on, and it just kind of sounded like one of his rallies. And then what Kamala said sounded like one of her rallies. All they seemed to be doing was kind of having like a rally. And that's what pissed me off again. Oh, God. That just makes me so pissed that when they asked Kamala a question, she answered how the hell she want. When they asked Donald Trump a question, he's sitting the goddamn hells on his mind at that time. It don't even have to have nothing to do with the question. But when it comes to any of them damn questions, they never veer off the path and say, you know, I would like this if you don't mind, or just do like you've been doing. Just answer what you want to answer. No one ever brings up reparations. Nobody ever says, even if you don't call it reparations, you could say, hey, you know, black people are in a very bad place economically in this country, and especially for how they came here and how long they've been here. We should be doing more for them. Well, Trump could have said it. He'd have had 40% of the black vote today if he'd have got up there and said some shit out loud, like for real. He could have really knocked the legs out of that, because it's a lot of us black independents, black Democrats who are not with it no more. We're getting tired of being lied to. Strong along, and then a person comes along, but Obama, looking like us, got the little bit of the vibe and the charisma and the culture, and he get in the White House and do us bad. He do us real dirty, and then he takes a liking to Kamala over there in California. He's beginning to kind of grooming her. I think it was 2012 or some shit that is at the DNC. She came out. That was her little coming out. They thought this was supposed to be their plan. They kind of had some questions and reservations about her because she started kind of messing up and doing dumb shit and going on and on and on in her speeches and going nowhere with it on policy and shit. And they was like, but she's so attractive and she's black. That black shit did it. The black shit did it. If she wasn't black, and that's why we as black people need to all get in a big old circle and hold hands. Every goddamn one of you. And any white people who support this and know they fucking with us and who's willing to help us in a way sometimes when you guys call it out, you add credibility to it. When we call it out, we whining. That's kind of how it go. Ain't that unfortunate? You don't even have the credibility to tell somebody that your foot hurt. Your foot don't hurt. So I heard a young blogger say on YouTube out of his mouth that if black people deserve reparations, then LGBT and immigrants, and I was like going, wow, that's how uninformed and uneducated our young people are. You can compare LGBT to ancestor of a slave. That was only 160 years ago, you guys. If you take 80 and 80 and stack it on top of each other, that's 160 years. That ain't that goddamn long. We were slaves. It's so hard to believe, and we're walking down the street and in and out of CVS pharmacies and Walmarts and Walgreens, and people see us, and we have on shirts and pants and shoes like they do. And we speak English that you can understand like they do. And people start thinking, they all right. Driving nicer cars, Teslas, have homes with garages, have children that eat. And it's an illusion that we're good, and we ain't. We don't have no wealth. Every generation of black people, except for certain households and folks, start from beginning each generation. They don't inherit a house. They don't inherit no lump sum cash or money or no bonds or no annuities or anything. They don't inherit anything. In fact, if they go to college or create some kind of debt early in life, they even operate at more of a deficit. Not a deficit, more of a deficit. So with that being said, it's like, and they can't even, and then she goes up there pretending to be us and won't speak on reparations. And people say, she didn't pretend to be us. We know who she is. And you defend her all you want. Defend her all you want. Give her a facelift and make that face not be African black looking, whatever race you want to call us. She looked like us. And that's why she was our selection. Otherwise, it wouldn't even happen at all. Not even close. And anybody who disagree with that, please address that in the comments. I appreciate it respectfully. I like the harsh complaints, but I don't like the belligerent, ignorant. I don't want to argue. I don't come on here to argue, and I hope you guys don't. I want you to enjoy your day with like-minded folks or a nice bit of resistance, respectfully. But yeah, Kamala can't be pretending to be us, you guys, and not doing nothing for us at all. Kamala calls Cory Booker her brother, and if he's her brother, and they both representing black people and, coming off as leaders of ours. What good are our leaders if they're not fighting for us? If our leaders get in presidential debates and don't even speak about us, and people crying real tears and upset because somebody say something bad about Kamala, nah, you guys, we can't support her because she doesn't support us. That's it. It's nothing personal. And all of our celebrities and Taylor Swifts and people who are swifting their way over their tour, so be it. And everybody who is a Taylor Swift fan, even some of the Swifties, don't have to follow for Kamala just because Taylor Swift do. That don't work like that. That's not how that works. I have a lot of celebrities in acting and in sports that in their field they're exceptional, but when it come to their politics, they're not. And I'm not going to listen to somebody whose income don't match their politics. And a lot of these people are lying to us. They lying. They reaping the benefits of one thing and talking against it. And I guess when you get on a certain level, you can do that kind of stuff because they're perks for your influence and for your platform and for willing to lead people to the slaughter. It's perks. I don't know what they are, but it wouldn't be a perk for me because your life would be miserable. And looking in the mirror morning at that goddamn face that sell motherfuckers out all day. That's all that face does. That's it. Nah, we can't have that. And I don't know why we don't demand more. Why we go along so easy? We go along real easy, you guys. I mean, Kamala never even had to ask. We just don't want to talk about it. Like it's a bad thing. It's not. It's a good thing. It's an important thing. And it needs to be on every agenda, especially the Democrats. It should be on the Republicans too, but we ain't found a way to leverage it out of them. I think Donald Trump would have a shot, but I don't know if we have an organized enough group to go and sit down and talk to him. We might, I don't know, but it would be really nice if we had something we could put together in less than 2 months, because I'm just tired of waiting. I'm tired of these 4-year cycles going by. If they're in the middle of a presidential debate and they don't talk about reparations at all, none, what do you think they're going to do when this election's over with? You think it's going to be in the news cycle? They are going to get this word out of the English language. It's something that we won't even be hearing. And it's like an active, when you are in a presidential debate and in the United States of America in 2024 and that don't come up, something ain't right. And they both lost. And we lost too, you guys. There were no winners in this debate. Just to go over that again, there were no winners. We got a fight ahead of us. We got to put Kamala on blast, and you guys are going to get shouted down and argued with, and most of your folks will be anti-Trumpers who hate Trump, scared of Trump. He's going to take the country away from us and all of that stuff. But what good is a country if you're like at the bottom of it? If you're underneath the shoe of the lowest people collectively? What good is the fight? You're fighting for what? So they won't raise their boot off your head? I mean, what is it you're fighting for? They got to give us something to fight for. And Kamala, she got to give us something to vote for. All right? So I'm going to wrap this one, guys. Like, comment, please share, and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.